Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Circle. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. He has played for clubs such as Reading, Nottingham Trent University, Beeston, and is currently playing for Surbiton. He made his England debut in 2022 with currently 39 caps and 1 goal, and as well as his GB 2022 debut as well with 23 caps and 1 goal. International achievements such as the Sultan of Johor winner, silver medal at the 2023 Europeans, Paris Olympic athlete, World Cup in 2023, and as well as the Commonwealth Games in 2022. Notable achievements off the pitch, there is coaching at various schools and clubs wanting to increase the next generation of hockey players. Please welcome to the podcast, Nick Park, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to talking all things hockey.
Oh yes, that's exactly what we do here. And how are you? How have things been since coming back from the Euros?
Yeah, it's been okay. It was obviously a pretty disappointing couple of weeks. You build all summer towards that tournament with the aim of obviously being in those semi-finals, finals, and obviously the way it all panned out with how long there was left on the clock before we got knocked out. Yeah, it was a pretty tough one to take for everyone out there. And sort of just having some rest and recovery at the moment to try and get ready for the new season. Obviously, a big year ahead internationally and with the club.
Yeah, and how long? This is just for interest of my own sake. How long after the tournament do you guys have like a debrief of, right, this is what happened? The results didn't go our way in the end. We got those goals in the last few seconds. Is it when you all come back to England, go back to Bisham Abbey and have that, or is it straight after the last match you can sort of recover and then have it?
Yeah, so like in tournament, our sort of debriefs are all forward facing.
Okay.
You obviously don't really have time to ponder on what's been before. So you're kind of sort of taking the learnings from the game before and looking forwards to whatever comes next. And then sort of in terms of like bigger review, we'll have a couple weeks off. We'll probably get some sort of review document sent through and sort of work through that over a couple of weeks. It can be quite a lengthy process. Like it's important you get it right and sort of take the learnings because it's obviously a disappointing tournament for us. So if we can take the learnings from that and move forward with those, it will definitely be beneficial for us.
Yeah, and with coming back after the England duties, are you straight back then into Surbiton pre-season, or are you giving yourself a week, 10 days to sort of catch up with yourself?
Barry Middleton's been on the phone.
Of course.
I think I'm going to give myself a couple of weeks just to sort of get your body right, mentally refresh and all those cliche bits. But yeah, we'll be back in within a couple of weeks, sort of looking forward to the season. And like as hockey players, it's kind of like we don't really know what to do if we're not playing. So
yeah.
Kind of getting back into it sort of gives you something else to focus on and sort of strive towards the next thing, which is definitely important for me and probably a lot of the other squad members.
Yeah, you obviously had a very successful season last year with obviously winning the English Premier League with Surbiton, and obviously had a great run in the EHL as well. What same goals for this year? Aim for another win. Has there been many guys come into the squad or leave the squad for this year coming?
So we've obviously lost Stuart Walker, and sort of gaining Banderak and Will Cownan, and we obviously lost James Mazzarello in goal, and obviously replaced him with Callum Douglas. So we feel like we've kind of replaced the people that we've lost. Sort of, I think the aim will be to hopefully win the league this time and also win the playoffs. We've got a squad that should be competing. And winning this league, so we're definitely looking at that. And then obviously, like bigger picture, like EHL, I think it's sort of English clubs have started to sort of put their name in the hat, as it were, in recent years. And I think it's probably time that we start progressing into the latter end of that tournament. Us, Old Georgians, and some of the other top sides in the English league are definitely knocking on the door. So I think the goal has to be to go further in that tournament, and hopefully some of the other English sides can also make it to the final 8.
Is it just the depth of talent that those European clubs, Belgium, Netherlands, even the German teams, is it just because they've got such a range of players, high-end elite players, that allows them just to keep being so dominant in that AHL?
Yeah, I think obviously the Dutch league is probably setting the ceiling in terms of what's possible.
Yeah,
They play good games like week in, week out. They train together. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 times a week.
right.
So they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. So I think sort of the difference from their top players to their bottom players is much smaller than you would find in English clubs, for example.
Okay.
And then that intensity of just sort of playing sort of game, having a day off and then playing again, because they'll get that with their training schedule. I think is sort of that definitely gives them an advantage when you get to these tournaments, because for a lot of the English boys, like it's not something they're used to. They're
Yeah.
used to playing one game on a Saturday and then they've got a couple of days off before they're training on a Tuesday. So I know Adam Buckle had like a hamstring injury for us. He's a really athletic defender, sort of gets stuck in, and he said like he just wasn't used to playing at that intensity, and that can definitely hurt the English sides, I think, when we get to these tournaments. But what helps us sort of, and probably the other clubs with a lot more centralised players, is we train sort of Monday to Wednesday and then Thursday night with Surbiton and play on a weekend. So we're definitely used to playing at that intensity, and we need to definitely start showing that at these tournaments.
Is that something that the English league should have a look at to maybe make it a bit more frequent in matches and training, opposed to having the longer time off? I know,
Yeah.
obviously, not everyone's playing, professionally or on a contract and things like that, so that can be difficult. But is it something that maybe it should be aligned to that a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard in terms of like finances.
Yeah,
We'd all love to be like the Dutch league. But I think what they've done well recently is they've decided that they want us to play as much as possible. So if we've got Pro League or some other international tournament on,
yeah,
they will then move the league around, which then condenses it. So we do play in a shorter space of time, which helps slightly. But yeah, potentially that is definitely something they could look at sort of around the EHL time, so you don't get these sort of fluctuations in the intensity that players are playing at. But yeah, I wish I had the golden answer for that. But
I think everyone does.
yeah,
I think if that English league can be, I think it'll just take a tweak from something. Someone will walk in and go, "Why don't we do this?" And the usual thing of everyone will go, "Why did we not think of that 6 years ago?" That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, taking it right back, hockey wasn't initially your, sport of choice. You were sort of rugby, football, cricket kind of person.
Yeah. Yeah. So at school, like we didn't play hockey at all. I was willing to pretty much give anything a go: football, athletics, cricket. Probably not rugby with my slight features. But yeah, I was willing to give anything a go. And my little sister was going along to like a taster session at Reading Hockey Club. I went along to watch and just decided to give it a go. I think from football, I kind of picked it up, sort of spatial awareness and sort of the tactical element of the game. And the guy who I owe my life to right now, it says, yeah, you should definitely pick it up. And from then on, I joined Reading Hockey Club and sort of went along on a Sunday, but still didn't really play that much compared to other people. And then it wasn't until I sort of decided that I was going to quit football, quit athletics, and then take up hockey like sort of more seriously, play in a men's side, which was a big thing for me. That it kind of all kicked off from there.
Yeah, and you obviously weren't going through the traditional methods that actually a lot of English hockey players go through, which the private schools, and you were at the state school, and you're very vocal about having more accessibility to the likes of the state schools for hockey or other sports that they are seen as a bit more elite. Is it something, because I know in America a lot of the junior schools will play on grass or play on gravel just to get it going? Is that something that maybe we should look at a bit more over here and just going, right, it doesn't matter that it's not an AstroTurf, let's just get something going?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Obviously, like the issue that you said about the AstroTurf is definitely a problem, but you can play on other surfaces, and I know the likes of Reece Smith and Darcy Bourne are doing some great work in terms of just sort of getting hockey out there. And I think it just sort of takes someone with a little bit of like interest to go and sort of like give give people an opportunity to play the game, because I definitely had no idea about hockey until I gave it a go. And I've been very fortunate to sort of go to the top level and travel the world. So I think, yeah, I was fortunate, and it would be great if sort of other people could find, kind of sort of fall into hockey. And there's definitely transferable skills from the likes of football and other team sports.
Yeah, and so you've done your taster session, Red, and you've decided to give up sort of football and athletics, and then from that point, from that point there, what was your journey to then getting through onto like those English underage groups? What was that journey like?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely not the normal.
Yeah.
So I would say I was okay up until the age of about 15, which I think was when I started to quit the other stuff and go into adult hockey.
Okay.
And then under 16s, I went to the regional competition, and was probably like the worst player there. Was well out my depth. Didn't feel at home. And then the next year, which was under 17s, there's no England age group at that year.
Okay.
And so I went to the regional competition again, which is meant to be sort of where it stops. And then that year I got picked for England 18s a year early to go and trial.
Brilliant.
So like in the space of a year, and I think predominantly that was because I was playing adult hockey, I'd sort of jumped sort of most people in my year group, which was a big step up. And then when I got to the England 18s, it was probably like a little bit too far at that point. And then was lucky enough to go and compete at the school games, which I'm not sure if that still goes on, but it's a great competition.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's staged as like a mini Olympics, which is, yeah, it was amazing at the time. And then the next year, England 18s, I made the squad. And then I played one series against the Dutch and then moved straight up to the 21s. So I kind of went from being quite sort of average to sort of jumping like a few stages early.
It's amazing what a season of adult hockey can do. I think a lot of people don't quite realize the step up from an under 15 side of, playing against all that to playing against senior men, the physicality, the speed. It is quite a difference, and I don't think some people quite realize that.
Yeah, 100%. There was a guy who kind of like took me under his wing, and he was a big guy, and he basically said that if you try and do anything through my body space, I'm just going to hit you. and you learn pretty quickly that you can't get away with certain skills when you play adult hockey.
Yeah.
And then I started to use like my natural speed and other elements of my game that I could definitely use, and it worked in the adult game. Whereas if you go and play against kids your age, you can sort of get away with stuff, and you don't really get that much better, in my opinion. So yeah, I would definitely encourage anyone to go and play adult hockey if they can, because yeah, it makes a massive difference.
And then, how did you find then that England GB pathway once you were in the system as such? How did you find that? I know some people really like it and have a great time through it. Some people can struggle with the sort of intensity of it while balancing school and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so I was never like a massive academic. For me, which was like probably quite silly, but like I was definitely like I want to play hockey all the time. Any opportunity I got, I was like, I'm going to play hockey. So yeah, I didn't find it too bad. And then in terms of like the intensity of the age group stuff, I was like, that was more natural for me than the actual hockey part. I'd always been an athlete, so I was able to get about the pitch. So yeah, that wasn't too much of a shock for me, which I know it can be for some people. Some people are definitely more technical, and then when they have to use their legs as well, like it's sort of, it can be quite challenging. So like I was probably too far at the athletic end, and then had to sort of catch up technically. Whereas I know a lot of people can be more on the technical side and sort of have to get the physical stuff as they go along, which they obviously can do if they stick at it.
Yeah, and then obviously to play hockey, you need some fairly good equipment. So I believe you're using some Adidas stuff. What are you using at the minute?
So I'm currently on the Chaos Fury, the one below, the 0.2.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm pretty low maintenance in terms of my stick choices. I'm happy to use anything. I sort of like anything that's got a little bit of touch. a decent bow on it, I'm pretty happy. And yeah, that stuff like definitely gives me that. But then when it comes to shoes, I'm extremely fussy.
Oh, really?
So I'm currently using the Lux, but I was a big Fabella man.
Okay.
I loved the grip it gave me. I loved how light they were. To be honest, I never thought they were going to get me out of those Fabellas. But the new Lux that they've reshaped are incredible. Give me the right sort of the speed, the support, the grip, and they're light enough for me to get about the pitch. So yeah, I never thought I'd say this, but I am loving the Lux.
That Chaos Fury obviously has the what I would deem sort of like the ultra low bow on it. Is that because you just prefer getting the ball in the air, or do you find a bit more control with it when dribbling?
Yes, I definitely used to use the straighter one.
Okay.
And then when Paul Revington came in to coach us at GB, one of his big things was he wanted the back guys to have a big aerial. So I thought it's probably time to get myself a bendy stick, see if I could hit the halfway line at least from the baseline. And yeah, I've sort of stuck with it from there. Yeah.
Perfect. And then what? Again, another interesting point. How every hockey player is different. What's your stick setup? Do you use 2 grips, 1 grip, a chamois grip, loads of tape, specific balance point? I know there's really fussy people out there.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too fussy. Balance point, I would somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then as light as possible sort of works for me. Grip wise, I go the grip that it comes with underneath, and then I go 1 chamois, and then
Okay.
I go like pretty much as much tape as possible all over the stick. I don't know if that actually helps, but yeah, I like to put some on the head,
Okay.
and yeah, as much as possible around the top and around the bottom. I grip it as low as possible, basically.
Perfect. Is that just something you've always done, or you've just decided to go? I'm taping the living daylights out of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was from Malaysia actually when I first came in as a young pup.
Okay.
A lot of the boys were sort of taping their whole stick because they thought it worked better when it was wet.
Yes.
And sort of, yeah, I jumped on the bandwagon and sort of stuck with it. Again, whether it works or not is beyond me. But yeah,
As long as you're comfortable with it, it's fine.
yeah, exactly.
What? So then, obviously, with being the Fabella man beforehand, really soft, spiky shoe, to obviously then the new Lux, big sort of shift in that where it's a bit more stable. How you find them? Obviously, I think are you in the bright green ones or the bright orange ones?
Yeah, the bright green ones. Yeah,
Nice.
it's hard to look past those. Yeah, so like the main thing that I loved about the Fabella was the grip.
Yeah.
The way I sort of play the game, I need something that's going to hold up when I'm changing direction. And that's why, yeah, I was adamant that I was going to stay with the Fabellas.
Yeah.
They've obviously then completely redone all the shoes, and this new Lux has got it's probably not quite to the same extent as the Fabella in terms of how spiky it is, but the grip's outstanding. And then obviously offers you that slight little bit more of support as well. So yeah, I'm loving the new shoes. And the bright yellow matches my stick as well, which I'm big on. So
Oh, very good.
yeah, yeah,
You say you're not fussy, but
yeah, more colours, which probably shouldn't be my priority, but there you go.
no, it definitely should be your priority. Obviously, then, so using that equipment, you obviously then got your central contract after the Tokyo Games.
Yeah.
Um, how much does that actually help as a player having that central contract to be able to train freely, pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing.
Hmm.
Like it allows you to focus on hockey as a main thing in your life. I think for obviously other programs have the difficulties of their managing their sort of work life, and hockey as well, which can be a massive challenge. I know some people sort of take their holiday days to go on trips, and so it makes it a massive commitment. Whereas for us, it sort of deloads that pressure, and we can just focus on sort of trying to get better as a unit.
Yeah.
And then obviously the exposure time we get like pre-tournaments to work on little bits, I think it is a massive advantage. And you sort of when you first come in, you notice how much better you get in such a short amount of time,
Yeah.
just by training consistently with the best players in the country. I mean, it's a massive advantage, and we're definitely lucky to have it.
Yeah. What does your week look like as that centrally contracted player playing for international team, England or GB, and then Surbiton? Even just on a week, it's not leading up to any major tournament, it's just a standard week. What does that look like?
Yeah, so a standard week, we'll come in on the Monday. We'll have meeting in the morning, and then we'll have a technical focus session, and then we have gym in the afternoon.
Okay.
Then Tuesday we have a slightly more intense pitch session, and then we have nothing in the afternoon. And then Wednesday we'll have our compete day, which is basically we try and replicate as much as possible what a game would be like in terms of the mental side, the physical side, the intensity side. And it's always good fun. You get put into two teams. You get to take lumps out of each other. And it always gets a little bit feisty. So that's good. And like the more we can replicate a game in that situation, the more we can learn, and the more we can learn from the video and how like people react in certain situations. So that's always good fun. And obviously at the end of the week, everyone's a bit tired, so you really do replicate what a tournament would be like. And then Thursday we sort of rest and recover, and we go our club sessions Thursday night.
Okay.
And then Friday we have like a optional sort of session, whatever you want to work on as an individual, whether that be the gym work, technical, whatever you need.
Okay.
And then obviously Saturday evenings we play at Surbiton. So it's a pretty packed out week. And you need to, I mean, it sort of preps you well for the tournaments and the EHL, for example. But yeah, it's packed out, and it's important to recover well. Otherwise, you'll start to really struggle as the weeks go on.
Yeah. So, does every club across the country have a training session on a Thursday, just because the Monday to Wednesday the international players or the centrally contracted players are training at Bisham?
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
it would make sense.
But yeah, I think the idea is that the clubs train Tuesdays, Thursdays,
Right.
and then
Okay.
the international players will only train on a Thursday.
Okay. Interesting. And so also those that sort of mini game as such, that mini game that you play on a Wednesday, that's all filmed as well, so that you guys can go back and look at certain things then too.
Yes. So they film all the sessions throughout the week.
Okay.
Which is amazing. Our sort of analyst guys that we have at Bisham are incredible. The work they do is like you can't even comprehend how much work they do, especially in tournaments. They're great. But yeah, we'll film all that, and the way it works is we'll play out sort of sometimes like different scenarios. So like keeper off, man down. So like we try and sort of replicate what it's like and sort of how you react in the moment, and then you can learn from that and sort of and move forward. And hopefully, then when it gets to that point in the game, you sort of lived it, and you know what's coming and how we're going to play.
Yeah. And is that obviously with all that data that you're given by these guys, does it help? Is it information overload sometimes? What is there, or have they nailed the fine balance of it now after so many years of doing it, kind of thing?
I mean, it's a good question. It kind of helps us debrief games. So we always receive sort of the stats from the game, and it's sort of, if you were feeling a certain way, sometimes it can sort of say, yeah, that's exactly why. Or sometimes you come in and you're like, I have no idea why the stats are like that. So yeah, it's really good from like a debrief point of view. And then a lot of it we probably don't see. It sort of informs the coaches, and then we see that in terms of how we're going to play.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I wouldn't ever say we feel like overloaded from it.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say we sort of dive as players, especially we don't dive too deeply into that unless it's really going to be beneficial for us.
Fair enough. And then how does that week change leading up to a major tournament, a Euros, an Olympics, World Cup? How does that week change on the build up to it?
So when the club season finishes, we'll obviously won't train on Tuesday and Thursdays at club, so we'll add in an extra pitch session on the Friday. And and then we'll have sort of meetings focusing on like maybe different teams or different parts of our game that we need to focus on that are going to be important going into that tournament. So yeah, we it sort of becomes slightly more intense and focused on GB as you would expect. But yeah, it doesn't change. It doesn't change massively. We probably just have more meetings, which I'm sure the boys love.
Fair enough. And is there a team that so you're playing the Dutch, always a hard team to play against. Is there a team like them that you'll spend more time looking at information for because maybe in the past few games someone's noticed something, or will it just be as general as possible for each team?
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, it's like because we play against these guys so much with the Pro
True.
League, and all the tournaments. We actually they'll make maybe subtle changes, which we obviously need to focus on. But generally,
Right.
we know as a squad how they're going to play and how we need to adapt against them.
Yeah.
Whereas for example, like a France or someone that we don't play that often, there's
Okay.
then more of the game you have to cover and sort of like, so nothing's a surprise when you get out on the pitch.
Yes.
So yeah, actually, it probably goes the other way.
Okay. Um, the the major tournaments obviously take place all over the place. So obviously you're in Germany there, Pro League, you've been all over the place. Is there somewhere that you love to go when you're on those tours? Is there somewhere specifically you just love going? You see it on the schedule and you go, yes, we're heading to Argentina, or yeah, we're back over to Australia. Is there any of those places that you just love to go?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think like I know people have differing opinions on their experiences of India, but like every time you go and play hockey there, like it is just incredible. The actual hockey
Yeah.
experience, like that World Cup game against India, I'll never forget. Um, Literally, like as soon as you turn over the ball, it could be literally in their own D, and they all
Yeah.
go mental, and you almost think they must be in on goal here. You
Yeah.
turn around, there's 10 men behind the ball, so like it is incredible, and you don't get to experience anything like that. You play in India against 21,000 people, and then you
Yeah.
come back to the league, and it's like there's your parents
Yeah.
on the sideline.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I mean, as hockey players, you've got to like savor those moments, and any
Yeah.
opportunity we get to play over there, like yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. Um, we haven't been to like Australia or America,
Hmm.
so we haven't really experienced any of those. And then obviously Argentina, you get to eat your body weight in steak, which is always fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
Absolutely.
different bits that we love about different places. But yeah, I think it's hard to look past India in terms of like the hockey experience.
Yeah. And is there a team, domestic or international, that you love playing against and just go, it's always going to be a great battle? I'm going to come off it regardless of the result to an extent and go on, it was a good game.
Yeah, uh, I think for me personally, it's probably the Dutch.
Okay.
Like the way that sort of hockey is going at the moment is very structured, and teams are
Hmm.
sort of setting up their defense, and it's sort of like slightly more like a game of chess. Whereas when you play the Dutch, both teams, us included, are going to play man to man. It's going to be free flowing. It's going to be aggressive. Like there's going to be space to play in.
Yeah.
And I personally think that's just such a better spectacle for the fans and so much more enjoyable to play in. Um, so yeah, I would probably say the Dutch. I hadn't really played the Aussies until recently,
Yeah.
but that's always sort of like similar to the Dutch. It's going to be a battle. There's going to be space.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'll probably pick those two if I had to.
Yeah. Probably the difference between those two, I think the Australians would run 3 or 4 shortcut as well, while
100%.
the Dutch are so bloody tall, they'll sort of step around you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is always interesting actually when you stand up on the halfway line ready to get pushed back, and you're like, wow, these guys.
Yeah.
Like, how are they all 6'2"?
Yeah, exactly. And it's horrendous because you go,
Yeah,
yeah, we're all pretty good. Oh no, look at you.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
um, and then is there a team you absolutely just hate playing against? It's going to be dirty, physical, just a slog to play through.
Um, I mean, the Germans is always like a really tight game. Never
Yeah.
never high scoring like all the big games. We've also played them in a lot of big games. World Cup quarter-final, which I won't mention too much. European semi-final 0-0. The recent game 1-1. So like, yeah, we play them in big games. We always know it's going to be tight. And like, to be honest, both teams are almost looking for like one switch-off moment where they can sort of capitalize on. So, though, yeah, I think it's definitely got to be Germany, and you've got to be like on it for 60 minutes, because they will punish you if you switch off for just a single moment.
Yeah, and then sort of going back to Paris then. I don't know if it's a silly question to ask what was your favourite match in it, because you did sort of decide to score a worldie and open the scoring in the first game against Spain. So I'm assuming it's going to be that match.
I was hoping you were going to mention that, actually.
Yeah, I knew you were.
Yeah, I think that's definitely got to be up there. I think when I turned up to Paris, I didn't really imagine that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's got to be up there, and sort of finish like that game 4-0. Probably wasn't a 4-0 game, but to win 4-0 in like your first game in the Olympics is just crazy. And then you get to you see your family and friends in the crowd, and like it's just such a special moment, and sort of something that will live with you forever. But yeah, the goal, I'm probably never going to do that again. So
you don't need to.
Savor it.
It's done. It's on video. Everyone can go back and watch it. You 100%. Just go, I don't need to score anymore. Look what I did.
That's saved for sure.
Yeah. How did you find Paris? Off the pitch and on the pitch. A lot of people had the sort of different feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like a kid in a sweet shop. From like the kitting out day to sort of when you arrive in the village, it's sort of like you have to like just pinch yourself like most days, really. I mean, like the village is incredible. Like I'm saying some people will know, but like you get your own campus, so you have like Team GB, and then you have USA, Holland. So you'll go down for a coffee in the morning, and Andy Murray will be sat there, and you're kind of like, I'm going up in the world a little bit here. Like, what's going on? So yeah, I think from off the pitch, like it's just incredible, and it was quite nice that we arrived. We got there like 10 days early, so we could get sort of all the sort of experience as it were out of the way, and then you could sort of like have to give yourself a slap on the face and be like, I'm actually here to play hockey. So yeah, I think off the pitch was amazing. On the pitch, like the group stage was weird. Like it felt like no one was firing on all cylinders. And I think sort of everyone kind of cancelled each other out a little bit, which I suppose is the nature of these big tournaments. So yeah, I wouldn't say we were firing on all cylinders, but like going into our quarterfinal, I think we felt pretty good. Like we played India a lot. We felt like our style of play would work against them. And then obviously, like, what was it, start of quarter two? Yeah, you get a red card, which is like, I've never seen that in a game of hockey before, ever.
No.
So like all this preparation you've done, you can just completely throw out the window. And obviously, like the psychologist will tell you, like, you prepare for different scenarios, but that's a scenario you can never prepare for.
No.
And yeah, I mean, the rest of that game didn't go to plan at all, did it?
Yeah. But I always find, and I think even like with a green card, playing against one less player is really, really difficult if you have one player up, because the team just goes, right, we've lost a player, let's just condense the whole pitch, which is what India did, and frankly, they did it unbelievably. And it is just really hard to play against, no matter what, international level, under 15 level, and everything in between. It is just really difficult to play against.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. And like the way we had played that whole cycle was sort of open, free flowing hockey, unstructured. And like it's probably that definitely wasn't a strength of ours at that time. I think we still probably had the skills to be able to do better than we did. But yeah, I think sort of the longer they held on, you could see like the confidence just sort of growing in them, and it's sort of like the pressure was sort of swung from their side all the way onto us. And yeah, we didn't do enough to break it down. And obviously, like Srijesh makes some unbelievable saves. And like to win these tournaments, you obviously need the quality. but at times you also need a little bit of luck as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just didn't fall for us on that day, which is hard because as a little kid, you sort of dream to getting to that moment, and it's sort of like it's done like that, which was extremely hard.
Well, look, LA is only 3 years now.
Exactly.
It is just around the corner. It'll come
around the
really
corner.
quickly.
Yeah, life comes at you fast, doesn't it, when you're a hockey player?
Absolutely. What I find interesting at the Olympics, because obviously this is how this whole thing started. We covered the Olympics on things. Short corners they're not the almost guaranteed goal like they used to be. It was the first time I really noticed it, and it's sort of been a theme then from the Olympics onwards that the short corners are not this guaranteed goal like they used to be.
Definitely not. I mean, obviously the improvement in like a number one running line makes it so much harder. Like when you see the video footage back from behind the goal, you're like, where am I meant to score here? So, and it's been definitely more of a focus from all the teams. And like the tournament over the whole thing, like people weren't scoring corners. And sort of you have to constantly adapt. Like at the Europeans a couple of years ago, we scored a couple of nice routines. It's just a constant sort of game of chess, I think. And like all the teams struggled especially in Paris, at converting corners. And I know the Flickers are doing a lot of work. Sort of all the Flickers across the world are doing more and more work of how to beat the runner and sort of where areas that they think they can score. But it's definitely not the guaranteed goals that you would have saw in previous Olympics.
Yeah, because even at the Euros there, I think it was German hockey put out the stat, like the top goal scorer from short corners, I can't remember who it was now, but it was only about 8. That's all they scored, which in a major tournament, I think that was normally the lowest score. Even like 2 or 3 years ago, that was probably the lowest score that you were getting from a short corner.
100%.
So it's amazing how it's just completely flipped.
Yeah, and I think the advancements in sort of protective gear, you don't like. It's not something that's
there's no fear anymore.
Potentially feared as much as it was before. Which the Flickers must hate, but
that's a good thing. I just stand on the line and panic. And then obviously, sort of in periods of time, I saw that you've done some coaching for schools and help out at Surbiton when you can. From the outside it looks like when and where you can. Is that something that you just like to do to give back to sort of those junior players, like how coaches did that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun, especially when you get to sort of take a team and you can sort of watch them grow. I've done different parts where you sort of go in and out and sort of take up, like just sort of help out at certain times. But yeah, when you get to sort of like take a team or an age group and watch them grow throughout the year, it's definitely rewarding and something I definitely like doing. Sort of bits. I know a lot of the boys in the squad sort of coach around their hockey, which is quite nice, because then you can sort of give back to the kids and hopefully give them something to aspire to as well. Because like we were all in that position when we were younger. So
exactly.
It's definitely a nice thing to do.
Yeah. Is there something? What's your favorite thing about coaching? Is it working on a specific skill? Is it structuring of a team? What's something that you like to do with them?
I think it's probably the games. Like you definitely like sort of get into it like a lot more than you think. It's like even from the sidelines you feel like you're involved, and it's also a different challenge when you can't just go on and pick up the stick and run around like a madman and try and impact the game. So it's quite nice and a different challenge for us to sort of try and think through the game a little bit more. So I'd say definitely the games for sure.
Brilliant. And sort of I appreciate I've had you for a while, so I've only got a few more questions left. These are the ones I've asked everybody. So it's been interesting to see what people's reactions have been. Certainly with this one, I'll laugh if you've said the same thing as everyone else. Has there been a rule change in the past few seasons that you've either loved or hated?
I mean, people must have mentioned the aerial rule.
Every single person.
I still couldn't tell you the rule. I still couldn't tell you. It's just an absolute lottery most of the time. I do think it is better now that we don't have to stand 5 yards away, let them
Yes.
receive it, and then wait another 5 seconds and let them just volley it from.
Yeah.
So that's definitely improved. I think the problem now is that people aren't even getting 5 in the first place. So like, you're actually starting 3 yards away and then just running in anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I do sympathise with the people who make these rules because I just don't see a way you can fix it without completely taking it out, which then also wouldn't help. So I think, it's got to be up there, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's every single person's said it.
Yeah.
And it's almost the inconsistency game on game. Like, you could play 2 games day after each other, like you would do, and the rules completely are perceived completely differently.
Yeah.
And I think that's the frustrating thing. It's such a grey area rule, opposed to if it hits a foot, it's a free.
Yeah.
It's a short corner, it's whatever. It's
well,
he looked 5, he didn't look 5. There's just no.
Makes it so hard for the umpires, isn't it? Like, what are they meant to do?
No, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And then, is there a rule change that you would like to bring in that could either just only benefit you and how you play, or benefit the team, or benefit hockey in general?
So some of the boys were talking about this. I think it was James Gould, and he basically thinks that, like in rugby, when the time's up, the ball still has to go out of play.
Yes.
So he said that basically, when you get to that situation where there's like 3 seconds left and someone just tries to hammer it in from the halfway line, usually goes head height. He said that potentially you could have a way in which if the ball has to basically go out of play, so you get one final play. And obviously then the pressure's on the defenders. They just want to get the ball out, which could lead to them diving in. Then the sort of space opens up. So I think that could definitely gain some traction.
That's a pretty good suggestion, to be fair.
And I can't take that idea, by the way.
You see, you should have said nothing. You could have no one would have known otherwise.
I know. He'll be on to me for sure.
Because I think one of the other suggestions that we got was actually having maybe 5 minutes extra time at the end, opposed to just ending the game and going straight into penalty runs. Because a bit like what you were saying, if it's a draw, normally it's a draw because one team's got a really late goal and actually they've got momentum behind them, and then might all of a sudden, even if it was another 30 seconds, might get another goal. So it sort of bleeds into what sort of that rule suggestion.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's definitely something in that for sure.
Yeah, look, these are all, by the end of this, it's all going on a book. We're sending it to the FIH. We're putting everyone's names beside it so they can contact you to go, why did you suggest this? And then the final question I've asked absolutely everybody it is determining whether this episode gets released or if it gets binned. It is before match or before training. How do you put your socks and shoes on? Do you go sock, shoe, or sock, shoe?
Do people go sock, shoe?
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. You used to live with one of them, by the way.
No way.
Yeah.
He goes sock. Oh my God. I'm glad I've booted him out now.
Yeah. He let it slip. He could have got away with it. He could have said nothing, but he let it slip. He went, I think I do that way.
I mean, I'll be having words. You cannot be doing that. Yeah.
No, it's shocking. It is
I do have a thing that I put my shin pads on far too early. Me and Stu Rushmere, we're half an hour before warm up, shin pads are on.
Oh, that's a bit early.
Which is very early, I know. I'm not quite gum shield, but yeah, I'm on early doors and I get a fair bit of stick for it. Probably rightly so.
Yeah, I mean it's not as bad as having a full foot out as well as a shoe.
Yeah,
but it's up there.
100%. Yeah, I'll take that one on the chin. I'm happy with
that. as long as you have both shoes on, you're fine.
Yeah.
No, right. That's a good answer. It'll go out. We're all good. No hard feelings now on that. No, but look, Nick, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate coming on and chatting and listening to my dulcet tones, asking you silly questions. Is there, before you go, is there anything that you want to plug, push people towards, anything like that?
I think no, I'm actually okay. I'm all right
Okay,
at
fair
the
enough.
moment.
That's easy then.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put some links in the description then, just in case people do want to
Yeah,
maybe.
please do.
Um, but no, thank you very much, and like, thank you very much for watching and listening, everybody. If you don't want to watch the video and my face for an hour, which is fair enough, you can listen to us on Spotify and let us know how you put your socks and shoes on. It's always really interesting to see how people want to shout at each other. And thank you very much, Nick, again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.